This is a November update on my 112-gallon average reef. The tank is looking pretty similar to last month. I've only really added one new coral, and I actually removed one. It just had a minor issue. After getting dipped, it seems fine in my frag tank. I am, however, considering doing some major renovations to the reef. These snake polyps are new. They're a type of zoanthid or something similar. They actually only open at night though, but they're kind of a weird piece which kind of fits with my style of reef. From the side you can see I'm missing a hammer where that brown acro is. I actually knocked that acro off, so it's just kind of resting for now while I figure out what I'm gonna do. I have noticed the corals in front here are getting a bit more light now that there's not a hammer there. The reason why I didn't just put it back, since it actually seemed fine after dipping it, is because I'm really considering rearranging this. The Goniopora is one of the main problems. It's stinging that little Cyphastria, the big chalice the hawkfish is on, and it's really stinging another chalice which you can't see. The other problem piece is this giant green leather. I think it's probably Simularia, but it might be Nephthia. It's just a massive, massive piece, and I have cut it a few times, but I really don't want to cut it up and then just have it grow back again in another 6 months or so. I actually cut some of the Gorgonian off, but you can still see some tips have damage, and that's from touching the leather. Sorry, this camera angle is not the best, but I'm trying to show just how big the colony is. From the side you can really see that it's not only long but wide and tall. It's got corals in between it, it's got corals under it, it's shading corals, it's stinging corals. Here's from the top without any flow on. And there's colonies of pallies behind it. I really like having big colonies. Unfortunately, this tank really isn't big enough to have very many big colonies. You can kind of see that there are quite a few corals under it that are not really getting enough light. Even the Gorgonian is pretty big too, but fortunately it's thin, so it doesn't really block out the light of the corals underneath it. The hammer colony in the back is actually really big, but it's just kind of crunched in there. There's more forgotten pallies there and other corals. So if I do redo the reef, I may actually remove that leather. Maybe just keep a small piece of it. I haven't really decided what I'm gonna do yet. I'm gonna think about it for at least a few more weeks. While I am quite happy with the way things are looking overall, I know the longer I wait, the more problems are gonna happen. I guess there's worse things than corals growing into corals, but I don't want it to get so bad that I end up losing a lot of things. An upgrade would be ideal, but it's just not a good time for me to be setting up a new larger tank in this spot. With the pumps off, you can really see just how big the Goniopora is and how many other corals it's touching. Unlike the leather touching other softies, which only cause a slight bit of damage, this actually can cause a lot of damage. And then I have corals like this beautiful clove polyp frag, which I can barely see because there are other corals in front of it blocking its view. And then little annoying things like this, having mushrooms grow up the toadstools and the Kenya trees too. So we'll see. The tank will probably not be drastically different by the time I shoot my next video, but maybe after the one after that, I'll get around to doing some major changes. I may still change my mind and do a little bit of cutting back, but really if I do that, I'm just delaying the inevitable. If you have any suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and happy reefing.